From Fox City Stadium in Grand Chute, Wisconsin, I'm Pat Coleman of D3Sports.com, joined by our baseball guru, Jim Dixon of D3Baseball.com, as we are down to the final two teams of the 2014 Division III baseball season. And it was Emory coming all the way through the losers bracket. First, they dispatched with Southern Maine by the score of 15-3, and then they knocked off St. Thomas 10-7 on a day, Jim, in which if you're going to win the championship, and we talked about this all the way back at the beginning on our first show, if you're going to win the championship, having come out of the losers bracket as one of the teams that loses the first day, you've got to win 6 more games. And to win 6 games in this tournament in the span of 4 days, you've got to have a lot of pitching. And they found it today in Paul Marola, who came out and had a gutty, complete game start in the 15-3 win against Southern Maine, and then Ben Hinojosa, who came out and pitched 6 innings in that game against St. Thomas. They really needed those pitching performances to keep the bullpen fresh.
They really did, and it's when you look at the teams that have had success coming out of the winners or the losers bracket, it is the teams that have been able to sit there and find a pitching.
Emory has been in this position before. They came out through the losers bracket in 2007. Mike Twardowski, the head coach, has talked about this extensively today, and has talked about this with his team throughout this entire run. That that is a team that is the gold standard for the Eagles in the Emory baseball program, and now they have a chance to do that one better tomorrow against Whitewater.
It's going to be fun to be here tomorrow and watch to see what the Eagles are going to do. I think they're going to have to get out early because you're not going to be able to outslug University of Whitewater. They have sluggers that you just won't believe. So what they're going to have to do is get out early and hope it holds.
It'll be interesting. So talk quickly kind of through the first game. Schuyler Skates did not get out of the first inning as the starter for Southern Maine. It was not the first time, of course, that Emory has chased a starter after an inning or less than an inning of work here in this tournament. And then it was just all the way through the bullpen, eventually to the point where when the game was out of hand, I really thought that Ed Flaherty did something pretty impressive and something pretty great for his seniors, where when the game was out of hand, he waited until in the middle of the inning and he took all of his seniors out of the game at once.
It was a nice thing for the coach to do. It's nice to get the applause, sit there and give them an acknowledgement of 4 years of good baseball. Southern Maine, if you look at their record, 2 regional championships, those seniors really have something to be proud of.
In that game for Emory, Jared Kahn with 5 RBIs, Philip Maldari with 4. Maldari came into the World Series, I believe, with 21 RBIs, and he had another 5 here on Monday to give him double digits for the World Series. He's really had a great series, and really the bottom third of that order has done pretty well, especially in the 6, 7, 8 spots.
When you look at the entire Emory lineup, everybody's doing their job. Everybody's getting on base. When you look at the line for both games 1 and 2, you're going to find that it's infrequent that Emory has put up a 0. They just keep scoring every inning, and you have to do that with a well-balanced offense from 1 to 9.
That second game, they defeated the University of St. Thomas 10-7. Ben Hinojosa got the start. He actually committed an error on the very first play of the game on defense. He had got Ben Podobinski to ground into a comebacker right to him, and then he bobbled it twice, stepped on it. Hinojosa with the error. Podobinski reaches base, and 3 runs later, St. Thomas is out to a 3-0 lead. And it was really kind of the tables being turned because Emory had gotten out to big jumps and big early jumps in so many games here in this tournament. Instead, it was St. Thomas coming with the early lead. But then Emory bounced back. They scored 2 in the top of the second, 2 in the top of the fourth, 1 in the top of the sixth to take the lead, and then kind of the floodgates opened with a 5 spot in the 7th.
I think what we saw was Emory baseball going on, where they sit there, they challenge the hitters to hit the ball, get in play, they put the runners on base, and they move them around. You're going to have a lot of motion. You're going to have a lot of stealing of bases. No, I think Emory did exactly what they want. And just like they did in the first game, a big inning in the 7th was really something to put the dagger in the heart of St. Thomas today.
Caleb Fernholz got the start for the Tommies. He went the first 3+. Was relieved after 1 batter in the 4th. Bill Ferder, a freshman who had gone more than 3 innings just once the entire season, came in. He went 3, and they tried to squeeze another couple of outs out of him in the 7th inning, and they just weren't able to do it. So looking back at the way that Emory 5-run outburst happened. Jared Kahn reached on a single, stole a base. Jared Welch with a bunt single that couldn't be handled, a ball a sacrifice bunt that got bobbled by Ferderer, and then Ferderer was out. Jacob Nelson came in, and he was solid in the 8th and the 9th, which gave St. Thomas a chance to put a run on the board and have a shot to get back into it. They had the tying run at the plate, but they were unable to do so. It was just uncharacteristic, I think, also of the Tommies. 3 errors in that inning, and they just weren't able to hang on.
They really weren't, and it's certainly to credit to Emory sitting there putting the pressure. And that's just exactly the way Emory plays, and we expect to see that tomorrow against University-Whitewater.
So University of Wisconsin-Whitewater and Emory will meet here on Tuesday morning, first game at 11 a.m. Central, 12 Eastern, and then if necessary, if Emory can win that one, then they will face them again in a winner-take-all game for the title, that game to start approximately an hour after the conclusion of the first one. So we could have a champion by about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We could have the lights come on at the end of the day instead. Who knows? I think almost the best thing about today, from a tournament standpoint, is we got through the day without having to worry about the rain.
Rain was going to be a factor today. We had a brief shower, but we were able to play through it, and so it really wasn't much of an effect here.
Week comes back tomorrow for Emory. That was what Mike Twardowski said. And then, you'll see the same guy who started day 2 will come back on 2 days rest if they need him. For Whitewater, of course, we talked about this, every time we talked about the change in the format. They've had the entire day off. They didn't have to use any pitchers. Everybody got their rest. They didn't have to use anybody in their bullpen, and they're going to come back pretty fresh for this game on Tuesday.
This really is Whitewater's championship to lose. They have every advantage in the cards, but certainly they're going to be facing a scrappy team in Emory, and so I think we're going to be set for probably a couple of games. Emory was in this position in 2007, and they unfortunately were not able to force the second game. But I think the Emory coach is going to take that experience, and I think we'll see 2 tomorrow.
And Wisconsin-Whitewater will have a chance to do something that nobody has done in Division III history. That is to win the football championship, the men's basketball national championship, and the baseball championship. And in fact, if I understand correctly, I'm not sure that has been done at any level of the NCAA. So history could be made here on Tuesday. If they lose, history could be made regardless, to be honest with you, because nobody has ever gone 3-0, had the day off, and then lost on Tuesday. In fact, only once since we've been using, in the years that we've used this format, has it even gone to a second game. So if you are interested in Division III baseball, obviously you are if you're watching us, don't forget we have all the coverage on d3baseball.com. We have, of course, game stories, recaps, game stats. We have post-game videos from all the news conferences. We will have a post-game celebration video for whomever hosts and hoists walnut and bronze here on Tuesday afternoon, and then Jim and I will come back and we'll wrap up the 2014 Division III World Series right here on d3baseball.com.